Okay. What's up, guys? This is K2 Karama here, and this is the Philosopher Stone cast. It's a philosophy podcast where we talk about anything and everything, really. This podcast, though, let me see. Let me cut this music off real quick. This podcast was it's our new podcast. On our last podcast, got stuck in a different channel on mine instead of posting to this channel. So we're gonna redo the podcast for you guys, and this is gonna be episode 2. Normally we start off with a philosophy topic. Our last one was fear. It's gonna be fear today too, but we're also gonna have another topic. The topic of who you really are, like who are you really, truly. Hold on a second. I'm sorry about that.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And the rules, they flew out the window.
Sorry, my dogs were being loud. Okay.
Everything's topsy-turvy. No rules!
Okay, so the philosophy topic for today is fear and who are you? Who are you really, like, as yourself as a human? Exactly how you are, your thoughts, how you became yourself since you were a little kid, you know. So um, it's definitely something we can think about and talk about for a while. So before we start, I just want to make a quick disclaimer that this podcast is just meant for entertainment, and whatever we say, with whatever rude comments or whatever, what is it, satire stuff, it's not meant to be taken seriously, and don't take anything we say to heart. But if you guys do want to say some stuff, leave some comments, and we'll definitely try to read them whenever we get on our next podcast. I'm going to try to set the podcast to Sunday nights, if we can. If not, it'll either come out on Monday or Tuesday. For now, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Ape over here. Say hello.
Hi there. What's up, everybody?
Say hi, Darkness.
Hi.
Yes, sir. We're here now. I'm gonna hit it over to Ape over here, and I want you to explain to the audience or listeners that what fear is and what exactly makes a person, like, who are you exactly.
All right. So basically, fear is
Okay.
fear is can be several things, and I think I remember saying this before, but it you have your rational fears and you have your irrational fears and phobias. Healthy fears, sad fears, green fears, purple fears. I might personally, well, I guess I should move to personally because we're asking me. So personally, I have a horrible fear of flying, stinging insects. Chris has seen me avoid wasps like they carry radioactive disease or something. I don't know why I'm so afraid of them. I've never been stung. They freak me out, like, really bad. So in that instance, fear is irrational. Now when I'm driving down the road and someone swerves into oncoming traffic towards me, the oh shit, complex that goes on and the puckering of the asshole that happens, it's a healthy fear. I'm trying to stop myself from shitting myself while avoiding dying. It's pretty useful. I think, people could look at the previous podcasts or something and see, like, what we thought about fear. or
Yeah.
what I thought about fear, but I don't know. The the who am I question. This one's going to be interesting for me because Chris was talking about that, and I started thinking about a conversation I had about 5 years ago with some people on the internet about what individuality is. Individuality is kind of an illusory concept when you really want to break it down. From one moment to the next, I'm not technically the same person I was in the previous moment. I'm constantly, you know, perceiving new information that's in some way slowly changing me. That's why I'm a different person now than I was when I was 17, and a different person now, or when I was 17 than I was when I was 7. Um, developmental factors and momentary lapses and how people think. I don't think who I am can really be nailed down. I mean, there's several labels I can go and talk about with thought, but if you want to talk about who a person is on an individual level, I think we're far less individual than we think, or indivisible, really. I think most people are pretty much cut from a template. Like we're cut from a template, the basic things about us, and then the few things that make us ourselves, that make us perceive ourselves as an individual, come later. And then on the opposite side of that is the fact that there is someone out there who has pretty much very, very similar, if not identical, mannerisms and thought structures and things to you. There's probably someone out there who looks just like you too. So it's kind of weird to define what an individual is or who a person is. So if I tried to apply that to myself, who am I? Well, I'm only who I am right now, and that moment's gone already. So
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much it for
that's
me.
pretty good, man. Like I've been thinking a lot about that recently, like who I really am, or how can everybody be so different, but at the same, like very very alike at the same time. Because it's just all like everybody's brain is different, but it's the same, and everybody's head tech. Some people have deformities, but that's what I'm talking about. Like there's always like a little change, enough change for different personalities to come out, and different mannerisms and all, because to be honest, um, we're we're so different, but we're so alike. Like with our race and our language and our religion and what we believe in. It's just we're the same. We're human beings, but we're all culturally different, and we think differently in separate races, and that's also why I believe that's the reason why it's hard for humanity to get along, because we're just made to be like that naturally, and to fear and question. There's fear. The other who that other person is, and you get what I'm saying. Um, I think that's all I got. What do you got, Darkness?
Well, fear is a very natural thing to feel, and there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't matter what you're afraid of. No one chooses to be afraid or not afraid, whether it's something that is rational, like someone points a gun at you and you automatically think, how can I get out of this and not get shot? That makes sense. You know that you could possibly die, and that's perfectly reasonable. To where, I also can't stand bees. you know Spiders and centipedes kind of freak me out because they're just freaky looking, and scorpions just fucking look nasty. They just get that big tail in the back that's just, it just looks like it's just waiting to just fuck something up. And then bees are a whole nother thing. They're like upside down scorpions that fly, and the bigger they are, the more they tend to hurt. And it's just like I've been stung. I'm not allergic. I don't even get bumps. Like I'm actually really resistant. And I get stung at work, when I would be working out around garbage. And it doesn't even hurt that bad. It's just when I see them coming, I freak out and I'm like, you know, I I want to get away from them so they're not going to get me. Fear is a really natural part of the human being. It's a part of all animals. Like, animals are much more simple. You ever wondered why animals are afraid of fire? Like my dog, if I just flick my lighter and make it spark, just seeing that, she jumps and runs away because that artificial light, just like that, it just terrifies her. It starts as we're young. Um, as we come into the world, we start observing the world around us and developing our own opinions about things. I don't know if you're aware of the fact that you can take most infants and set them in water where it's deep enough that they can't touch the bottom, but most of them will automatically start dog paddling and start swimming around. They won't just sink and drown. But some full-grown adults that'll live their entire life and never get proper experience in water, if they fell into water, would freak out. And that's how some people actually drown, is because they've never been around water like that, and they'll fall in and they'll panic and actually cause themselves to take on water and drown themselves. Fear can be developed over the course of a person's life through experiences, or like in the case of someone being afraid of water, lack of experience, because the human body is naturally buoyant. If you just hold your breath in and just sit there, you'll float. You're not going to sink. But fear fear is natural, even though it might be irrational sometimes. It develops differently in different people. Like me, I've never been afraid of swimming. I grew up around water. I grew up fishing. I grew up riding around on a boat every now and again. And, sometimes I would just want to jump off the side of the boat for no reason because I like to swim. I was comfortable in the water. Even without a life jacket on, it was hard to get me to wear one just because I'm comfortable in the water. Whereas, even though I'm kind of a big guy, like I run from bees. So I, fear is never a bad thing because it's always rooted in someone's desire to preserve themselves, in self-preservation. But there are some fears that aren't just about self-preservation. I think it bothers me that sometimes fear will cause people to branch out. They'll take their fear and they'll impose their fear on other people, affecting other people's lives who originally didn't even know about that. Like kind of like the Spanish Inquisition, extreme religious people that did horrible things just based on a belief. And that's another explanation for another time. But I think fear is okay, but I do think that you should focus on your fear and control it, because if you let fear of anything, whether it's something, crazy. I mean, there's phobias out there that if someone told you about them, you wouldn't be able to make sense of it. You wouldn't know what you were hearing. You'd think that it was something made up for television. But I think fear is good. It's healthy. You just need to focus on your fears though, and always always try to think about where something comes from. If you ask, this is how I've actually figured out a lot of things, was by asking the questions why. If you keep asking why, and not like a little kid where they say why, but if you want to get to the root of something and get to you know the beginning of a problem, or if you want to understand anything, just keep asking why. Why am I here? You can't just ask why are you here. That's what you want to figure out. So kind of it's like reverse engineering, but you reverse answering a question. Why am I here? Well, I am here And then you just go backwards. Why? Someone tells you an explanation. Why would I believe that? Well, because the yada yada their explanation. Well, why do other people believe that? Where did that start? Back and back, and it's a really long. I'm not going to actually go through that entire thought process that I would go through in my head because it that would take a long time because your brain can speak to yourself in your mind at some 200 something words a minute or faster. The human brain, when you're thinking in your head, you're talking to yourself and you're communicating with yourself at such a fast pace that you could never get that much information out. That's why sometimes you get frustrated when you're trying to explain yourself because it sounds so clear in your head because your brain's just rattling off perfect explanations, but you just can't get the information to come out in a coherent sentence. Um, Fear is nothing to be afraid of, and I know that sounds stupid because of what the definition of fear is, but I think fear is a natural part of the human being. We're not nearly as complex as we want to think we are. A lot of our responses to everyday situations are glandular, whether it's the release of adrenaline that causes someone to panic and flee from a situation, or if it's the release of endorphins that cause someone to enjoy something that's happened. Whether what they're enjoying is morally right or wrong, that's subjective, and you can't really debate that so simply. I think who we are, or who I am as a person, I've given a lot of thought to myself, and I think genetics are very important. I've thought about who my dad might have been and who my mom was, and it's not like I knew her that well, and I never met him, so it's kind of hard for me to have a point of reference. But from what I've experienced in fear, it's never done me wrong. It always guides you in a direction of safety and tries to move you forward. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, as long as you're making progress with yourself. It's a good thing to have. You just need to know how to control it in your day-to-day life.
That sounds pretty intense, man. That's some words from the darkness there. Um, Ape, what are you doing?
I'm I'm sitting here. I was thinking about what Tyler was saying about why. My favorite question to ask is how. Like
How everything
instead of
happened?
why am I here? How am I here? How did I get here?
Why, how, what? It's always good to ask, no matter what. Questions are good because they lead to answers.
And answers lead to progress, and progress leads to technology eventually. And
Technology
technology,
leads to porn.
When you're going to make a frozen pizza, no matter how many times you've made the same pizza, what do you do as soon as you pull it out? You flip it over and say, how do I make this? Because you forgot, right? All right, I got to preset it to 350. Okay, how long? 15 minutes or until golden brown. Fuck it, let's wing it. It always came out good before.
Yep.
I like that some of them will say like 15 to 17 minutes if you want soft crust, 21 to 24 minutes if you want crispy crust, or until golden brown, or until user's preference. And I'm
No,
just
it was
like,
the other way
well, fuck
around.
it.
Red Baron says like 15 to 17 if you want crispy, and then it says to cook it longer if you want it soft. I shit you not. That's what it says. That's what freaked me out. It actually says put it in there for longer if you want your crust to be softer.
That's odd.
Yeah, it blew my mind. Next time you're in a grocery store and you see a Red Baron, pull the box out and read the back of it.
I got pizza today.
I made bacon for dinner. I made bacon, eggs, and hash browns for dinner.
I had leftovers, like Asian food leftovers. Um, It was really good.
Very Merry Christmas.
Anyway, I want to bring it back to the topic of who are you? Like, how can somebody be who they are and nobody else can be exactly the same person as them? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's to be expected.
Yeah.
I
But I
mean,
mean, we're all made of the same parts. Where we all have brains and our bodies and stuff, but we're still like everybody's different. And like
it's
also,
because
what's really interesting is the fact that there's so many different personalities and all this science with personalities and psychology and what have you. It gets really deep, because we have to study it to understand why we're so like the way we are. What do you think, Darkness?
About fear,
About like the who you are thing.
who we are. Oh,
Who are
I
who are
meditate constantly. I could be in the middle of a insane like math quiz, or I could be operating a space shuttle, and I find myself in my day-to-day life, I'm constantly lost in deep thought just thinking about, because I think I'm obsessed with understanding me and being able to control me better, because I don't really care much about the world around me. You can't control other people, you can only control yourself. And I think every time I realize something about myself, it brings me a little bit of peace, because I'm that much closer to mastering me. I want to learn, because it's my mind. I'm using it to think. I should be able to learn every inch of it, and in the deepest depths of my psyche, what are my weaknesses? What are my things that I'm afraid of? What do I want? I don't, I want to fully understand what makes me me. And I know I'll never be able to fully, you know, like understand every inch of my mind and everything about me, because I mean, even though it's my mind, I just don't think there's enough time in the normal human lifespan to figure that much out, because there's a lot. And but basically, I think every human being should strive to focus on understanding themselves and bettering themselves. And I do think that if the human race is going to succeed in the long run, we need to do so for the purpose of benefiting not just mankind, but our entire existence. Because I don't want to sound like one of those people that are crazy about the environment, but if the humans continue on the course that we're on, the environment will be so damaged that by the time we switch from fossil fuels and go to the obvious solar power, which makes perfect sense, because the reason, when that runs out, that's going to mean the sun's exploded and we're going to die anyways. I think that people need to stop thinking so much about the here and now, which is popular for people to say. I'm worried about the present. Don't worry about the present, because the present, just that's 5 seconds ago that you just said that. Now it's 10 seconds ago. You need to start thinking ahead, because that's what's gonna happen. Don't think about what just happened, because that was something that you failed to do anything about. If you're thinking about the present, you're just lazy. We need to start understanding human nature better, or at least strive to, because that I think that would be beneficial to not just mankind, but like I said, our entire planet, because this is our world. Until we developed, the ability to travel distances in space greater than, from here to the moon without losing human life, we're going to have to focus on this world, because it. I mean, I know in the face of eternity, the human race, we're just like a blade of grass. We're a little blip. We're nothing. But there's no reason why we shouldn't aspire to be more, and focus on what actually affects us, and not stop, and not we got to stop obsessing about. We've filled our lives with superficial nonsense like money. Why should we have money? Well, it's so you can buy things. Why should we have to buy things? Why don't people just grow things so that other people can eat them? Why should they charge it? Well, then they won't have money. Why would they need money? Like, you ever wondered? Because if you really think about it, it I think the human race took a wrong turn at some point, and I don't know if we could ever get back on track. It kind of scares me a little bit, because when I start to understand myself, then I can relate that to other people, because we're all humans, and it's kind of
Yeah.
a scary thing to think about.
Yep. Man.
See, I have an opinion on money that's more like, yes, while on the whole objective level, money is completely meaningless. It's totally imaginary. I mean, you can have representations of it, and they're supposed to represent it's currency that represents the wealth and resources that you can ascertain with that piece of currency. But the issue is like I think that we could transition away from money and live lives where we grow what we need and do what we need to do, and we would also have technology available at that time that was capable of sustaining itself, and we'll be able to go throughout and do what we need to do, progress as we need to, work on the social issues. But I think that the reason that the more we think about who we are, the more we can relate to others, as you were saying, Tyler, is that it's like what I was saying earlier, we are templates to begin with. The reason, even though we do have pretty much all the same parts, despite if we look a little different and whatever, our brains are all pretty much the same, with exception and whatnot. I mean, everybody's brain has a little bit of a difference, but it's also the fact that none of us exist in the same space at the same time. Like nobody's seeing through each other's eyes. So that instantly is going to make every single entity, even if they were identical at the start, like if every single person on Earth was identical, like down to the T, like genetically identical, they would still develop differences because they cannot be in the same space at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Mark Lar. We are all Mark Lar.
Mark Lar.
Come to Mark Lar for my Mark Lar. I will give you good Mark Lar.
All right, guys. I think
Everything
that
is
was
Mark
pretty good
Lar.
first opening here for the topics. And again, the topics were fear and who are you exactly? Like, who are you?
I'll
Think
market
deep.
at a high price.
Deep thoughts.
Never stop thinking.
Our next segment is the news. Typically, I was planning to do maybe like 5 stories, but so much happened this past week. Um, I'm just gonna start off with the main thing that happened recently. It was a big thing that happened. I don't know if it's still going on. I'm pretty sure they're still struggling over there, but there was a tropical storm, I believe. No, a hurricane that hit Mexico, um, and it was um, let me see here. Hurricane, I believe Hurricane Patricia. Yeah, Patricia strikes Mexico's Pacific coast. Um, it
That
is,
ass dough.
yeah, it is one of the most powerful ever recorded hurricanes that has ever been witnessed or recorded.
Chris,
Yeah.
how do they measure the magnitude of hurricanes or tropical storms? Because I know earthquakes register on a Richter scale.
I'm trying to find that. I have the.
Do they measure it by width, or is it like an algorithm that combines wind speed
Yeah,
and width?
yeah.
Because that's actually an interesting thing. It just occurred to me. I've never thought about that.
I think it's either called an
Strongest hurricane ever recorded is expected to reach the coast of Mexico. Um, That happened on the October 23rd. And I got some videos and stuff I want to show just to show you what exactly happened. Um, but I'm just going to do it through screen share because it's a lot easier. So, bu- bu- bu-
Click on it.
um,
So when you screen share, as soon as you pull that screen up, the audio rolls through the video too, right?
I believe so, but I'm not sure.
I think it did last time. We watched interviews about the ZombieCon incident. Whoa, infinity shot.
Infinity. Here's one video, and it's fucking insane, dude. Look, check it out. Check it out.
Man, go ahead and hit play. See? Yeah, I can hear it. That's brutal. That's in Mexico City?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, can you understand anything that's being said in the background?
There's a lot of rain, and it's hard to hear anybody talk.
Man, there's a Range Rover there, that gold one that's just now that white car. Man, there's people sitting on top of it. Damn. Man, that's got to be scary.
I
Yeah.
looked up some facts about this hurricane if you want to hear them.
Yeah. 1 second. Yeah, man, that's fucking insane. They're dealing with that shit probably right now.
Infinity shot.
Having problems with this thing here. Hold on.
That's brutal. You should make that make that your wallpaper, dude.
But here's it. Patricia formed on a Tuesday as a tropical storm, turned into a hurricane in just a day later, and kept building. And then by Friday, it was the most powerful hurricane on record in the Western Hemisphere,
Yep.
with maximum sustained winds near 200 miles per hour, 325 kilometers per hour. And it's the Saffir-Simpson scale on 1 to 5, but there's another scale they use that registers up to 8, and it actually registered as an 8.3.
So powerful than the powerfulest setting.
Yes.
That shit looked insane, dude. I have some more stuff here. Let me.
Hey, Chris, would you mind giving me 20 seconds
Sure.
of interruption?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What are you doing?
You see this?
Hold on.
What's it say?
Little Caesars commercial, no rules.
It's funny.
Okay. Well, I really want to try to stop doing videos on here because I don't want to get flagged. But that was kind of funny, yeah.
It was Little Caesars, so they have rights to the video. It was just free
Can
advertising.
you stop screen share?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop.
Didn't I?
But hey, no, you don't have to worry about the flagging as long as you don't play audio clips from songs longer than like 5 seconds,
Okay.
and you don't have to worry about it for displaying videos from like news or other videos as long as you credit it and it's obviously credited by being there as if you announce the title, and you're using it under the fair use clause. It's fair use because it's either for entertainment or educational purposes.
Okay. I'm gonna move on to another story here. Let me see here. No, I'm not gonna do that one.
Can I put up a picture
Here's
of a
one.
vagina
Here's
if there's
one.
no face?
Here's something to bring some fear into people. The fear of being alive. All right. I'm gonna do the screen share. Here we go.
That's crazy. I just disappeared into the
Four
distance.
people dead.
Hey, Chris, I'm still singing Infinity Shot.
You still sitting in finish shot? Okay.
And I gotta say, it looks cool.
You just want to make sure it's set to present your
Here we
whole
go.
screen.
Here we go, yeah.
Yeah. 4 people dead, including a 2-year-old. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
After a homecoming parade crash. It says a woman suspected of driving under the influence plowed into a crowd Saturday during the Oklahoma State homecoming parade, killing 4 people, including a 2-year-old boy, and injuring dozens more in a collision that sent some spectators flying through the air. Yeah.
It's hard to believe that people get so sloppy that they could be capable of something so
4 people are dead and
unthinkable.
dozens injured after a car barreled into a crowd of people at the Oklahoma State University homecoming parade. Police have charged the alleged driver, 25-year-old Adacia Chambers, with the DUI. OSU officials say Chambers isn't registered as a student. Witnesses say the car hit a motorcycle and then plowed into spectators at the parade. Reports indicate the car was not part of the parade and was traveling at full speed before hitting the crowd. 8 critically injured people were flown by helicopter to nearby hospitals, according to the Stillwater Police Department. 26 more people were injured, 9 seriously. 3 victims were killed at the scene. The 4th, a 2-year-old, passed away at OU Medical Center late Saturday. For Newsy, I'm Eugene Daniels.
Can you imagine, like, her life is fucked now, you know?
I mean, you want to make sure your kid's a white trash piece of shit who's gonna get fucking high and run a bunch of people over and name the bitch Adacia.
Well, I mean, she was drinking.
I mean, I've made my fair share of mistakes and I've had close calls, but never anything near that level of insanity where I would be under the influence and just kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or just plow into a group of people. That's, I mean, yeah, I mean, if her, yeah, you're definitely right. Her life is fucked.
Yep. See if there's any pictures. Here's some pictures.
It hit a motorcycle?
Yeah.
when they say full speed,
They didn't say how fast, so. But she must have been going pretty fast to do that, man.
She wrecked that motorcycle and still, I mean, yeah.
maybe they meant like the actual full speed of the vehicle, like maximum speed.
Well, I mean, that she mangled that motorcycle, and if you see the front of that silver car of hers, it's just caved in. Even hitting a motorcycle and 4 people, it's kind of hard to just cave in the front of a car like it did. Can you? Is there another picture of that silver car sitting where it was after it hit?
I'm looking. I'm sure it's in here somewhere.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's her. That silver one against the pole over there.
Yep.
Yeah, she was going pretty fast to rip the whole front bumper off.
I like how that one guy is just standing there and he's like, I'm wearing a cowboy hat and I got my hands on my hips.
Where?
Picture below.
In this picture?
The one below it.
They got 2 soldiers standing there. See those guys?
Yeah, it was a parade, dude. Like,
Oh,
there was cops and soldiers all over that place.
that's
There was a lot.
horrible.
There was a lot of people there. She hit a whole crowd, dude. Whole crowd going full speed.
She must have just been so messed up that she didn't know there was a parade and just drove into it.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm surprised the cops didn't stop her before then, because I'm sure the roads were cut off and blocked and shit.
They probably didn't expect anything on that magnitude to come flying in there. They probably were just posted up just to turn people away and give them detours around the parade area, or just stop pedestrians from wandering into the parade path. They probably didn't think that a car would come speeding. I mean, I wouldn't have anticipated that happening. A car would just come speeding through like that.
Yeah.
That probably took them all by storm. And she's got, I mean, after going to jail and dealing with everything she's got to deal with about the victim's family, at the end of it all, she's going to live until the day she dies with that on her mind, thinking about it every day.
Yep.
I would take my own life. I wouldn't allow myself to be spared a lifetime of just guilt. I would end my life.
Some deep words from the darkness there.
Well, I would deserve it if I made that
Anyway,
mistake. It's an honor.
let's move on to the next story. This next article or post that I saw, I didn't read it yet, so this is my first time looking at it, but I just read the title. But it's from a pretty reliable source. It's IF. I fucking love science. You know that one, Ape?
Yeah, I've seen the memes.
Ape? Justin?
I think he's got to go tinkle.
Okay. Anyway, this is IFL Science. It says, have we really discovered a huge alien megastructure around a star?
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it goes into this deep science stuff about stars. Do you want to read it? Can you read it?
Yeah, is that where it starts?
Yeah.
Last week, the internet was abuzz with the news of a mysterious object orbiting a distant star, 1,500 light years away, that was blocking a huge amount of its light. With no obvious candidate for what the object could be, one scientist suggested the very faint possibility that it could be artificial in nature. Yes, made by aliens. Aliens should always be the very last hypothesis you consider, but this hooked like something you would expect an alien civilization to build. Jason Wright, an astrophysicist from Pennsylvania State University, told The Atlantic Wright wasn't directly involved in the study, which has been published by ARXIV.
I don't know how to say that either.
Is that a magazine?
I don't know what it is. But there's a link that leads to it. I believe.
Should we click on it real quick?
Um,
Since I couldn't pronounce it, I don't.
it's taking me. Oh yeah, it's a
Planet Hunters X. I don't know what this is.
It's all the research.
Huh.
It's all the science stuff. All the equations and the.
What's this up?
Well, I was just trying to give credit to the source because I couldn't identify
I
their
mean,
name.
it's a really credible source. IFL Science.
Oh yeah.
But made his comments after discussing the findings with lead author Tabitha Bohagian. Is he right? And if so, what could it be? You want to pick up, Justin?
Are we taking turns reading?
Yep. Third paragraph.
Third paragraph. Alright. Wright has since clarified his comments and said that such a theory is extremely, emphasis on extremely, unlikely, but it's intriguing nonetheless. It's not least to spark discussion if not least to spark discussion as what might be out there. After all, there are hundreds of billions of planets in our galaxy, itself one of hundreds of millions of galaxies in the known universe. It seems doubtful that we are the only planet with life on it, although why we have not found other intelligent life yet is a mystery, known as the Fermi paradox. I've read about this. I've also read a lot about the fact that it could also be trailing comets caught up in an issue with the gravitational flux and stuff like that, but it'd be cool.
Yeah.
The star in question is KIC 8462852. Original. An old star about 1.5 times larger than the Sun, using the Kepler Space Telescope, a team of astronomers found that its light dipped up to 20% on several occasions due to the orbit of a vast object that would have to be almost half the star's size. What's more, these huge dips occurred at random across the 1600 days the star was observed. I'll keep reading if you want, I don't care.
Yeah.
Owing to the age of the star, the object must be relatively new or it would have been consumed by the star's gravity. The object cannot be a star as it is not emitting light, nor is it circular. It is also unlikely to be a planet owing to its irregular orbit. So what is it? In the paper, the leading suggestion is that it is debris left from the comets breaking up around the star. This would be expected to produce large amounts of infrared radiation, though owing to the scattering of dust around the star, something that was not observed. This led Wright to suggest the other, more outlandish theory that an alien civilization could be the cause, or more specifically, a Dyson sphere. A Dyson sphere is a structure that harnesses a star's energy for use by a civilization, sort of like solar power but on a massive scale. It would be composed of hundreds of thousands of spacecraft, often referred to as a Dyson swarm, that would theoretically be large enough to block out a significant portion of a star's light.
Dyson Sphere sounds like an awesome band name.
Yeah.
Dyson Sphere. Live tonight.
They cover a Dyson sphere in one of the episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Pretty cool.
Cool. Okay, dude. I think we should move on. But what else did you think about it, Abe?
I think that, it's only a matter of time before we do find something like that. Honestly, I mean, if life has occurred earlier in other places in the universe, then, given the odds, it just seems likely. But the fact that we haven't discovered it doesn't really discourage me from that, because the universe is so fucking huge that it's kind of like an amoeba trying to find a specific amoeba on the other side of the world. It's a scale way outside of the scope.
Yeah.
Astronomical.
Exactly. And to bring it back to the scale brings me to this next post that I found. It's from the same source. Let me get to the screen.
I saw it there.
Here we go. This is a 46 billion pixel view of the Milky Way. It's the largest space image ever created. This image is 194 gigabytes. That's how big this is.
Just a picture.
Just a picture.
That is pretty intense.
I wonder if I can click on it.
Most pictures you'll ever download only register in kilobytes.
That's because of how defined it is. You could continue to, if you had the full picture, to zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it would keep bringing up bigger and bigger and like more brilliant detail. Puts 4K resolution to shame.
Probably puts Retina display to shame. 194 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Like, even if you had a coded version of the picture that was 64 times smaller, you'd still have a shit ton of available information to zoom in on.
That looks like a Death Star. I'm just gonna say it.
Anyway, yeah, dude.
Dun, dun,
I would
dun,
like to see
dun,
that picture.
Dun, 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 dun. Who's ready? Y'all ready? I'm ready. Star Wars.
Ready.
So there's this here. Do you want to read the title, Ape?
Hashtag Rise Up October. Protests call attention to police violence. because police are violent.
Yeah.
Rise Up October. What's that fest about? Is that even what is that?
Against police brutality. It's a rally against police brutality.
Rise Up.
Rise Up October. That's what they're tagging it as.
Rise.
Continue Friday.
I do think cops are
Western
much more aggressive than they need to be at times.
I totally agree.
Cops. You know what it is, dude? It's because, they're so. The more aggressive ones are like usually the fucking big fuckers that they're all buff and stuff, and they work out, and I'm pretty sure some of them take steroids and fucking just get so angry and stuff because they're not, when they're out there, they're just acting on instinct.
Well, steroids are only against the rules in sports. Clinical steroids actually aren't illegal if you actually are getting the legal ones, because you can order steroids out of a magazine.
Yeah.
I mean, the hell of it is, maybe we should hold them to that standard, but I think on top of it, I think it goes a little deeper than just people injecting steroids or something like that. I think
A lot of them were like that growing up. A lot of police officers were actually bullies in high school. Some of them were, and other ones might have just been that one smart mouth kid that just would just say mean things to people. And maybe having that gun on his hip and that radio and all that power, it pollutes his mind and it just amplifies all of his abrasive qualities that make him a difficult person to be around.
Yeah. And not all the cops are like that.
Of course.
I mean, I would say if I were to guess or hypothetically put a percentage on it, I would say about 20% are like that.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just following the leader. And then there's the good, they're generally good police officers that are actually, they're just like us. They have families and they have things to do and people to see and people they take care of, but they also have this job that takes a lot of work and effort.
Mandatory mustache.
And you're like worldly hated, even though you're not like those other people,
They get a bad rap.
Yeah, you get so much shit, even though that person is a genuinely good person and genuinely wants to help people and make things right for everybody else, because they want to live in a world that's not full of violence and what whatever.
Have you ever been accosted verbally or harassed by a female cop? Me and Chris had that experience. Remember that coming back from the masquerade?
Yeah.
She was she was acting a lot tougher than she needed to be, because I was just cooperating with whatever she wanted, and she was she says, "That was a nice cigarette you threw out the window, or was that a joint?" I was like, "It's a cigarette." I don't know what to tell you. But no, I do support cops, and I do think we need people like them to keep the world safe that we live in. I just think that the screening process and the training, and not scrutiny by people outside, but I think inside of a police department, they should be much more careful about the behavior that is. And I understand when cops are riding around their cruisers, they're going to say some screwed up shit to each other about people. And we all got some fucked up shit to say that we don't want getting out.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody judges each other. Everybody, we size up each other every time you see somebody new, pretty much. and then we talk to our closest people there that we trust the most about our opinions, and we keep it secret, and we walk around acting like it nobody else does it, and it's you're not supposed to do it, even though everybody does it. Anyway,
Yep.
yeah, that's
I don't know. I think that, we could end a lot of the police violence and people being treated hostilely if we just ended a lot of the persecution and prosecution and prohibition of several drugs.
yeah. Nobody likes to be controlled or told what to do. So as long as there's an authority, somebody always wants to overthrow that authority. It doesn't matter how it's done. Some people are just like that,
Yeah.
Yep. Let's move on. Let's see here.
Can I ask Justin a question?
Yeah.
I see you're drinking Bud Light.
Yeah, my mom had it and she said I could have it. I can't go buy beer on Sunday, so I was like, fuck it, sure.
Oh, you can around here, noon to 6.
In Indiana, they won't let you buy it from like 3 in the morning till 7 in the morning the next day.
I was just going to make a joke about how you're drinking light beer, but you are just inhaling pizza. Like something about the angle that we have of you in that chair, we could have presented you as a paraplegic who's like hyper intelligent but paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay, dude.
That'd be great.
Let's
Yeah,
move on.
like a Stephen
Um,
Hawking.
You want to read this title, Darkness?
Of course I do.
Hold on.
All right. You probably don't have to worry about someone giving your kid ecstasy on Halloween. It's Halloween. That means candy corn, jack-o'-lanterns, but bat decorations and warnings about innocent trick-or-treating kids getting drugged by your creepy neighbor.
The Facebook post is no longer available.
That's something I never thought about. People putting but here's the thing, and I know this because I've actually never done ecstasy and stuff like that. It scares me. I don't like pills or any kind of weird drugs like that, so I would never do it. But I do happen to know that ecstasy is not like a cheap drug. So what kind of rich asshole, pervert creep, is sitting at home with so much money and just ecstasy laying around in buckets that he's just gonna throw drugs at kids?
Not to mention, what the hell? Who's going to hand them out? And then the kids are going to walk off with them and probably not eat that candy until they get somewhere else.
They're gonna think it's like those little chalk Valentine's Day hearts and just throw them away. No, but that is something I never thought about. That might actually happen because you never know. Somebody might they might take it and wrap it up in a candy wrapper, and the kid wouldn't know it, and he'll put it in his mouth and be like, "Oh, that tastes bad," spit it out, and then 5 minutes later, he's naked on the floor, like, "I feel great."
Yeah.
No, but that's scary.
Yeah.
It'd take.
I think it'll happen if it never happened. There's not one case that it happened, but
Now that we're on the internet.
now that the story's out, it
Yeah.
probably is gonna happen because somebody's gonna get the idea from the story and then just do it.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Because that's just how people are.
I wish I grew up in the 50s or 60s, man. I'd take a dump in a bag, put it light it on fire, watch them stomp it out. Ha ha, you got dookie on your foot. No one got hurt, but then people started putting razor blades in apples. I've gotten candy apples before, all covered in caramel, I think, but I never got an apple. I did go trick or treating one time. I was I was like 11, I think, was the last time I ever went. Uh, there was a transsexual, like a really butch transvestite came to the door. And that was awkward. It was just me and my friend. And, like me being like a cocky 11-year-old, I'd just try to say something cool to everybody. And he, she, it, they opened the door. And there's like weird R&B music playing in the house. And I'm like, I got to go. But no, like they had a bowl of candy. So I'm like, yay, candy. And then I made the comment like, oh, sounds like you're having a party. And then this is the voice that I hear speak back to me. Not yet. So I was like, all right, bye. But that happened.
Awesome.
That was a real thing that happened to me.
So that's all the stories I have for today. This podcast. I'm sure we can look here on Facebook, but I don't want to go on my personal Facebook on here while I'm streaming. But do you guys have any stories that you want to share before we move on?
Sure. Pizza's good.
Yeah.
Ape.
And that's
you have
probably old
anything?
news, but
Anything more important than pizza?
yeah, I got to pick up my keyboard and I'll. News time. All right. Let's see what I got here. Usually doesn't take me very long to scroll down and find a news story on this here Facebook contraption. Oh, there's my good keyboard. So let's see here. I guess I don't care about screen sharing my personal Facebook. It doesn't bother me none. Let's see. Higher screen. All right. What is that blotch? Why is there a blotch here? So confused.
Damn it.
Why do I have a white square in the center of my screen?
I don't know.
That's weird.
It doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. There is a white square in the center of my screen. It will not go away.
It's okay. You can do without it.
All right.
Damn it.
Well, the white square still hasn't gone away.
Okay. Do you have anything, Darkness?
Nah. God damn it.
How about we do this? Let's go on to the next segment of our podcast. This segment is called the Pit of Darkness. And we'll do that segment, and then we'll go back to Ape and see what's going on with him. So go ahead, Darkness. Tell us what you have for the Pit of Darkness today.
Well, we touched on it here and there, mostly in the past few minutes, but I guess I'm going to talk about not just drugs, but self-medication would be the proper way to say it. I don't know how long it's gone back, but as far back as we can possibly go in human history, where we can actually document things in like real detail, where we can actually say for sure that we know what happened. Human beings have been trying to alter their mental state by supplementing their normal body chemistry with other chemistries, other substances, whether it was marijuana or opium. Opium was very big in the 1800s. They even had opium dens. Like you would have a bar now, you would have a den where people would go and lay around and just smoke opium. And it wasn't as cool as you would think it was in, like when you see a movie and they're laying around on cool chairs and there's some girl like giving them a pipe. No, it was pretty much like, imagine what a crack house looks like. People laying around on the floor just vegged out high as shit on opium, because that's what opium does. It's kind of like when you see in the movies when someone like shoots heroin into their arm and then they just like that. That's what opium does. It just like that's where the term opiates comes from when they're referring to pain medication, and that's why some people get addicted to it, because if you take enough of them, everything starts to feel like you're just weightless, like you can't even feel the ground you're walking on. And Native Americans smoked marijuana and various other herbs that they would mix with tobacco in their pipes. There's, and I know this is a little bit darker than just people getting high for recreation, but over in Africa, where there's lots of, I want to say warlords, but a lot of them don't even get the title warlord. They're mostly just they're leaders of tribal bands where they might have 100 guys tops. But there's a certain type of plant, and I cannot remember the name of it, but they'll chew it. It's like a long, it looks like grass, but it's like long needle-like grass, grows a couple feet high, and they'll chew on it, and it pretty much causes a euphoric, blissful effect in how they're feeling. And a lot of them, before they go into a village or do the nefarious things that some of them are infamous for, they'll chew on a bunch of this stuff, and it just gets them hyped up. I don't know if anyone has seen the movie A Clockwork Orange, but if you're familiar with the very beginning, he starts naming off lots of different chemicals or drugs that he mixes in with his milk, and says that it gets him ready for a bit of the old ultra violence. That's kind of the mindset that they have there. Is they just get really high, and it's kind of the same effect of someone trying to strangle themselves when they're jacking off. I guess for them it just makes that rush that more intense for them. And I know that's a darker reason to do drugs, but and then there's alcohol. Beer and spirits have been distilled and brewed so far back. You can trace beer back to a pretty, you can narrow it down, but alcohol, like actual liquor, came about before that. People found out that you could take certain foods and distill them and produce a substance that, although it didn't taste so great when you drank it, it had a pretty intense effect. And now, in our generation, there's new drugs coming up all the time. I remember or I guess it was a couple years back, there was that drug Molly that lots of people were talking about, which is basically just ecstasy. And someone might dispute that and say, no, it's in it. I mean, don't split hairs here. It has the same general effect. And there's acid and shrooms, and how some people came to find out that these things did what they did is beyond me. I mean, the first guy that picked a mushroom up, out of some cow shit and ate it had to have been high before he even tried it, because, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And I doubt that scientists ever knew what these chemicals did. I mean, you have to perform tests, right? You can't figure out what a compound is, or a molecule even, is capable of until you subject it or expose it to another substance or compound to see how they react. So, but somewhere along the line, we figured out these things did these things, and the human race has been deliberately exposing itself to things that are, in some cases, very harmful, just for the sake of altering our mental state. And I've said before that I watch a lot of Animal Planet. I was watching an episode that they were in the jungle, and there was this species of jungle cat that would deliberately chew on these leaves of this plant that was known to cause hallucinogenic effects. And then they filmed the tiger just laying on its back, staring up at the sky for several minutes afterwards. Just not sleeping, not just playing around. It was just laying there by itself, pupils dilated. And I guess that leads one to suspect that sometimes animals will do that too. Just like dogs, if they have a severely upset stomach, will eat grass to make themselves throw up or to give themselves diarrhea so that they can clear out their system. I think because we're so much more complex, we do those same simple things, but it's much more pronounced because we have the ability to fully comprehend what these effects are and I think it's made us dangerous to ourselves because we understand it so much that we can now artificially produce new substances, not just, marijuana and then cocaine, but then cocaine turns into crack, and then the poppy plants, that black sap that you can scrape off of it can be processed into heroin. And there's different kinds of heroin. There's black tar heroin, which is it's like the lowest quality you can get. It's called black tar because that's pretty much what it looks like. It looks like black tar until you melt it down and put it in a syringe. And then there's pure versions that have been processed further that it looks that's that normal brown, powdery, tan stuff that you see in a lot of movies. And then there's crystal meth. Who knows how the first person came across something like that? Because, I mean, the things that go into it don't sound like something that you would ever want to smoke or shoot into your bloodstream. It just seems really interesting that humans have incorporated chemical substitution into their lifestyles, not just marijuana for some people, which that's being changed a lot now. It's being legalized. And then there's alcohol, which as long as you don't do that and drive or do it in public, that's perfectly legal. There's also the medication that for several years people have been giving to their children to change their behavior, to change the way their children act, changing how people feel. People have anger problems, or they get sad, or maybe they just get depressed. They take antidepressants, which in the long run, I think these things are very unhealthy for human nature, because something that artificially changes brain chemistry or blocks the release of certain chemicals in the brain, that's got to be destructive. It's got to cause long-lasting effects. I think if we continue on this path for another 1,000 years, if the human race lasts that long, uh, I think it'll have an effect on our evolution, not genetically, but culturally. The human race is going to revolve around a dependency on uh, chemical substitution to supplement our need for feelings that we can't achieve in our day-to-day lives, because society is in a place that won't allow us to attain a certain level of feeling that we want. So we'll just take a pill, or take a pipe and put some substance in it, and smoke that, or drink something, and instantly we'll just have this feeling that we want, and won't have to do anything to get there. And it seems it just seems scary, because I guess there's no real way to know where it would lead for sure. If you look at where it's come and where it is now, it's gotten pretty astonishing. And then if you imagine from now, and then take that same timeline of about 200 years and look off into the future, where are we going to be 200 years from now when it comes to I guess drugs, or just medicine, and not medicine as far as antibiotics and cold medicine, but how far is the human race going to take it when it comes to deliberately altering our mental state through chemical substitution to make up for a deficit of uh, brain chemistry? I guess that's just how I feel about it. It seems like a lot to think about. It's a pretty it's a pretty big idea if you actually think about the implications when it comes to the human race in the future, you know? What in the hell? Okay. I guess that about wraps it up. Damn.
Sorry, guys. I lost connection there. Sorry. Give me a second. Hey, I lost connection, dude.
You did?
Yeah, but we're still live.
All right. Yeah, I did too. I also got a weird white box in the center of my screen of my computer, and then had to restart.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to talk about right now? Because I got to figure out how to get Tyler in here.
All right, this second. Not really. I'm just waiting on the computer to boot back up. Damn it, the technology, man. Technology.
I'm sorry about that, people. We were in the middle of a pit of darkness and we lost connection. Hopefully, we can get back on track here once we get the darkness back into the room. So please bear with us. Hey. Yeah. Yeah.
This pizza, dude, is really good. It's bacon. Um, where's it at? Right here. Bacon.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. We had connection issues on my end for some reason. But yeah. Thank you for joining us. This is the Philosopher Stone cast, and we're here. Um, Darkness just finished wrapping up while right in the middle of wrapping up when we caught off. So um, I think if you want to finish wrapping it up, you want to do that, or do you want to move on?
I don't know where it cut off at on the recording, so I don't really know where to start talking.
Okay.
Basically, what I was just saying was that the long term implications for the human history's use of chemical substitution for the deficit of brain chemistry that we have currently, it's pretty insane because when you think about the last 200 years, where drug use started and where it is now is complicated as all these substances are that we're putting in our bodies. Look, 200 years in the future, what are we going to be doing? Like, we're going to have like like little hypo tubes that we'll buy, and then we just go like a health pack from a video game, and it's just going to shoot something in us. Nano machines, maybe. Who knows?
I'm looking forward to it.
That is a mountain of pizza. How are you not done?
How
I
are
don't
you
know, dude.
still alive?
You'd feel like a dick if you had a heart attack right now.
No, like the one on top is pineapple, jalapeno, bacon, and ham. It's a wonderful pizza.
Did you make it?
Yeah. I went down to Domino's and I was like, I'm going to make a pizza and then I'm going to take it home.
Cool.
It looks like 3 pizzas.
There's other pizzas in here too.
Yeah, it's
Just
a
my favorite
mess.
one I'm eating.
You know what? You're making me hungry, so let's move on here. Gaming news. Games coming out. Star Wars Battlefront. If you haven't played the beta, then you are missing out. Play it on PS4 or PC or Xbox. It's gonna be cool. I don't even have to really mention it because it's Star Wars, and I'm sure you all have seen it. It's Star Wars. Anyway, also another big game coming out next month, or very soon actually. Fallout 4.
I think it's like 2 weeks at this point, isn't it?
I think it's less than that. Let me look it up.
What is their official launch date? I just know it's going to piss me off.
November 10th, 2015.
That's 14 days away. That's exactly 2 weeks.
Wow. You were right on the money.
Bitch! Oh, yeah.
I've already pre-ordered my game. I can't wait for that one.
I just now picked up StarCraft 2.
Just now.
Yeah.
I haven't played it.
You guys play the new Star Fox for N64?
The new one for Nintendo 64?
Yeah, dude, those graphics, though. 3D.
3D.
Like the third dimension?
Yeah. The fourth dimension encompasses time.
Yep.
What does the fifth dimension, what would that encompass, theoretically?
That would encompass the existence of all matter moving on the linear path scale of the fourth dimension, but being perceived as if it was all happening at once.
Is there a sixth dimension? How many dimensions can you go up before it's indescribable?
There's a really good video on that, and I don't know if I could ever find it again, but they basically take it up to about the 11th dimension.
So there's different dimensions.
Well, a dimension is just how you are measuring something.
So
I measure my penis in 3 dimensions.
I measure mine in 4.
I can hit 4 on a good day. My penis, it levels up to like level 20 Super Saiyan and becomes omnipotent.
it becomes a Saiyan god.
Yeah, my pubes turn yellow.
It becomes a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
Ascended Super Saiyan god.
My pubes become like anime spiky yellow hair.
It tries to fight Frieza all the time.
It just buffs up and gets all huge and veiny like when the Super Saiyans are like, ah!
Have you seen Resurrection F yet?
No.
Dude, it's worth watching.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F.
I'll watch it tomorrow. No,
Yeah, because
tomorrow, Tuesday.
Vegeta goes Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan in it. They have a level above Super Saiyan God down in this movie, and it's called Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. It's weird.
I like the Dragon Ball Z I've watched. I only saw up to Super Saiyan 4.
That was in GT, and technically GT wasn't made by Akira Toriyama. It's not part of the canon, so the new stuff, which is the Xenoverse saga that Akira Toriyama's doing, with all the gods and all that other stuff,
It goes up to level
that's
20.
the new canon.
I want to see every episode all the way from 1 to 20. Like, because it goes up to Super Saiyan 20, right?
No. It's like, it's Super Saiyan, or no, it's regular Saiyan, then it's Super Saiyan, Ascended Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, then Super Saiyan God, and then Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. It's weird.
Where's 4 at?
Four, they got rid of 4. 4's gone.
Why?
Because GT's not part of the official universe.
Even though it's not,
I still like it too.
I still consider 4 part of it.
It's like an alternate timeline or some shit.
Please support the official release.
I support. I don't even know anymore. Anyway, what should we do now?
I say we pull out our wieners and flop them around in front of the camera.
Finally, I've been waiting.
I don't know.
No, we'll censor them. It's fine.
I don't have
I need a lighter. Why do I never have one?
You can cover your penis up with a lighter?
Yes, I can. Trick.
I knew I left a tennis ball canister laying around here somewhere. Don't want the edges to show. So,
Star Wars. That's
can we play some Imperial March to our outro? Is this the end?
No, we can't do that kind of stuff. But
Well, can I just hum it?
There's some news about Star Wars. Did you hear about the white supremacist people killing themselves because the lead role in Star Wars is a black guy?
It is?
Yeah.
Outrage! I'm just kidding. Did that really happen?
He's gonna do a good job.
The
movie is gonna be really, really good. It's gonna be the first really good Star Wars movie to come out since the first few.
What's the actor that's playing as the lead role?
Some black guy.
If it's Will Smith's kid, I'm not gonna fucking watch it.
No, it's not. He's significantly more black.
And way, way better actor. And
Cuba Gooding Jr.
No, it's nobody you know.
Denzel Washington?
It's a new actor.
Not that black.
Or he's not new, but he's fresh on the scene. You know?
I want to see Morgan Freeman be a fucking Jedi. You see him come walking out and just Morgan Freeman. I'm Morgan Freeman, bitches. I'm a motherfucking Jedi.
The first time I laid eyes on Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The Jedi stalked their long march.
They ought to, some white supremacist folk killed themselves. Straight up killed themselves in protest. This just doesn't even make sense to me. You're going to protest this movie in the hopes that they change it so you can go watch it, but you're going to kill yourself to do it in the process. And so you're not
Like,
going to get to watch it.
was it like a mass suicide? That's insane. I never heard of that.
No, it was a couple of people. It wasn't very big, but it's still funny that they did it because of that.
That's crazy. Like, imagine ending your entire existence over something like that.
That's how big Star Wars is going to be.
It's going to be a religion, dude. Like someday.
It already is to some
I
people.
already bought my tickets. I'm going to watch it in IMAX. I have them.
What if it sucks?
It's not going to suck.
What if it
What if they
does?
come out crying like it was awful? They wouldn't give me my money back.
Even if it was the worst Star Wars movie ever created, it's not going to suck. You know why? Because it's a Star Wars movie.
So Yoda's gonna be in there doing his Yoda thing.
He's probably gonna be like naked.
He's like 800 years old now, isn't he?
He's already dead.
He's gonna be naked. Well, didn't he just like disappear?
Yeah, he did the Ben Kenobi trick, just like,
But does that mean he's really dead, or did he just?
He's embodiment within the Force.
Wasn't that crazy? Like Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to have been cut in half, like supposedly, but like there wasn't a body there when he just dropped. It was just like his robe.
Yeah, he transcended himself as into the Force itself. He's still a competent being. He's just totally composed of midichlorian force,
Forcing this fist up your.
How are they gonna work with that midichlorian thing about like bacteria that are actually the Force? When they broke it down into a science, I think that they really gave themselves a big hurdle to try to jump over.
Well, they're not really like bacteria as much as they are like really, really small things that happen to embody all life. Like any life has them in it in this universe that they're in, So this is from reading the books, not like there's Star Wars books out there that kind of really follow the canon of Star Wars closely.
Ton of extra material. The toys, there's so many toys now.
KOTOR.
It's everywhere. It's on like mac and cheese boxes and shit. Cereal boxes and like cans of soup. And like I'm sure McDonald's is going to do something.
Pretty sure there's a dispensary in Colorado with weed named after Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
It's like officially sponsored by Star Wars now.
The Force. Skywalker Kush.
That reminds me of an episode of Boondocks where Grandpa smokes weed and he gets this stuff called Skywalker, and like his grandkids are like looking at him and they're like, "Are you high?" And he's like, "No, I'm not high. What makes you think that?" And like the whole time you're looking at him, he's kind of like bobbling up and down, and they cut back and it shows him just kind of floating in the air as he goes by. Oh, such a good show.
Have you seen Rick and Morty yet?
Some
I've
of
seen
it.
I like it. It's pretty funny.
Mildly entertaining.
My favorite episode was the one where he does the interdimensional cable box, and those shows that come on the TV. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Do you like gay porn?
I can't say I hate it, but I don't watch it.
No, you know what show you guys should watch? It's called Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell.
Never heard of it.
Oh, can I play a clip?
Sure.
Is there going to be music in it or anything?
It's just going to be the show. It probably has like an opening sound.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because I don't want to get any content thing. we can probably do it after the podcast.
The show has rights to it, so I can play the show.
Yeah, it's part of fair use.
I
Yeah.
don't, no, dude, I don't want to risk it. But anyway, I think we've gone on quite long enough, actually. So, let's go ahead and
Vagina.
try to end this here real quick. Again, we were talking about fear and who are you? Our topics for this podcast. Even though we deviated, we still came around to both those topics for a little while until we got cut off. But it was fun. I hope you guys liked our second episode, technically the third, but whatever. We're going to try to do this again next Sunday, or Monday thing. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And I guess we'll see you later.
Shake Zulu. Shake Zulu the Mac ruler.
Bye.
I take it to you.
Goodbye.